What's happening, YouTube? I really don't want to make this video. Ridicule. Been dealing with that for a while now. Ridicule. Such a lousy word because of the kind of weight it carries. So anyway, let me get after it. Shortly after I moved here, I was infected with a parasite. I don't even like using that word because of how much grief it's brought me, and not just with my health. Let me readjust this a little bit. There we go. Gotta have Petey squared up in the frame. So anyway, I moved into this main house when I first moved here. I was stayed in the little shit house when I was unloading the truck, and it was winter time, and anyway. But after I'd been here for a little while, I started seeing these little scabs pop up on my skin. And I started asking around. Anybody local, when I went to the dentist, I asked them about it. You know, you guys ever have issues up this way with parasites? Because the problem was, one day I picked at one of these scabs, and when I pulled it off, there was something stuck to the bottom, and I saw it move. And it freaked me out. And I was like, dude, you didn't just see what you saw. Ridicule. I'll get a lot of heat for this video, but I don't care. I need to get this off my chest. And when I saw what I saw with the scab, and I started poking around on YouTube and looking stuff up, and saw a lot of shit when it comes to parasite, because there's so many different ones. And the one I'm dealing with is a worm. It attaches to veins and feeds on blood. It also feeds on calcium, because I get aches in my knuckles, in my joints, in my knees. Physical symptoms that I put together when I listen to people talking about different parasites to try to narrow down what I was sick with. I'm very curious by nature. And when it comes to my health, I was tripping. So I did a lot of homework. I still don't know the source of the infection, whether I was bit by the deer fly or it comes from my well. I still don't know. But you guys have seen the samples, and if you haven't, go look at my videos. I didn't take those ones down. I took down all the old stuff, but I still have those videos. When I was real sick, before I started taking ivermectin, I got to 153 pounds. Now I'm a little over 180. So I gained back 30 pounds because of taking ivermectin. And all this is documented in my videos. You can go see old videos from when I was in this house after I was here for maybe 6 months. You can see them on my hands. You can see them on my face. I was out in the auto shop one day and got real dizzy, and my vision got all fucked up, and my equilibrium, and it dropped me to my knees. I couldn't walk. I was tripping. I thought I was going to die. I thought I was having a heart attack or something. Fuck, why can't I even walk? I can't see. Can't see straight. So I closed my eyes and just kind of breathed and opened one eye and took my time, and it passed. So I blew it off. Got a head rush or something, you know what I mean? And then about A year ago in this house, little Kimba freaked out. I made a video about this. She freaked out. She was running, acting crazy, wouldn't calm down, and then she keeled over on her side. But she was still breathing. So all I could do was hold her, comfort her, and then she slowly came out of it, and then she snapped out of it. And then people on YouTube were saying she probably had a seizure. Well, the problem is, when we were living in the back shit house, when Kimba died, she did the same thing. Except this time she ran around for a couple hours, not a half hour. And when she finally calmed down and I was holding her and petting her, she died in my arms. And I did CPR on that little dog. I had CPR training when I was in the Union. I was a safety dog, as they call them, right? As a foreman, you got to get trained for all kinds of shit. On a job site is dangerous, blah, 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 and it helps with their insurance. I could see the parasite in my dog's stools. I saw it in mine. When I was in the back house, I had an issue for a couple of days. And I reached out to my boy James and I was telling him about it. And I was tripping. I thought I was having a stroke. I was having numbness on my right side, numbness in my neck, and some real fucked up weird symptoms. So me and James were talking, and I was like, yeah, man, I think I got to go to the doctor and get checked out, right? I don't think I can blow this off. So I go to the doctor, but because I had been dealing with what I believe was a parasite, I mentioned it to him, right? And they just blew me off. Like, we're going to check you out. We'll run a scan and all this shit and put me in the machine, machine, CAT scan, whatever the fuck you call it. They said, your brain looks fine. We don't see any signs of a stroke. But what we found is the scan only went halfway down my chest, but in the middle you got your aorta. And they said they saw an aneurysm on my aorta, but the picture cut it off, and we want to do a scan even lower. So I had to get 2 different scans done. And they're still hounding me for money. And I've already given those guys almost $3,000. But anyway, so they diagnosed me with the aneurysm, but all my neurological issues, all my dizziness and my vision issues and my numbness and all that shit, they fucked that off to stress. So I accepted that. But the neurological issues are still with me. And they were still with me back then. And so I called and made an appointment and said, hey, man, forget about the aneurysm for a minute. I got an issue, and I believe it's a parasite. I need to come see you. All right, fine, come in. So I brought a bunch of samples, shit that I would pick off and put on clear tape and fold it over and make like a microscope slide. And I brought in all this shit because I knew they weren't going to believe me. I'm like, because of everything that I've experienced and people I've talked to, doubting Thomases and ridicule. So I bring in all this stuff, but I didn't have those worms. Those worms I didn't find until after Kimba died. But I had a bunch of other shit, including this dish with all these little white things, which I believe are eggs that were in the dog's bowl that fell out of their mouth when they were drinking water in a perfectly clean water bowl. Fresh water, a clean bowl, first thing in the morning, and there were all these little white things floating in there. Those little white things are exactly what's on the inside of my cheek on both sides. I spit them out all the time. The ivermectin, from my research, kills the adult parasite, the full-grown worms, but it doesn't kill the eggs. And these parasites go through life cycles. And right now, I'm having issues again. That's why my energy's low. These things feed on you. Ridicule. Nobody believes me. All that numbness in my neck, all the shit I was experiencing, I believe it was from the parasite. Before Mayan died, the mama dog, she was getting shit coming out of her eyes and out of her mouth. Anyway, I see the same thing in me. If you watch my old videos, you can see how my speech has changed, how my weight has fluctuated. Journaling, I used to say out here all the time. I need to do journaling. I need to talk about the shit that goes on, right? I need to get it off my chest. Because there's no one here to talk to. You know, doing lives and comments in the comment section, you guys help a great deal. You do. Knowing that there's somebody out there that cares. It helps. But I'm sick. And so when I went to the doctor here in town, doctor gets a little magnifying glass with a little light on it, like you use to read a book for old people, right? So you can see the letters bigger. He's got one of those. Looking at all the shit I brought in. I don't see what you see. He repeated that comment several times. I was so upset and so frustrated. Ridicule. So I left. Very upset. Started getting sicker and sicker and sicker. To the point where I made a video, I thought I was dying. I was so skinny and so weak. And out of desperation, and people on YouTube telling me, Johnny, you need to take ivermectin. And I was thinking all that bullshit with Trump and COVID, you know. I didn't know anything about ivermectin. I didn't know it was a medication that kills worms, kills parasites. Somebody mentioned to me out here about The Little Rascals. Used to be a black and white show when I was a kid, right? These poor little kids and all their little adventures, right? Well, Spanky in one of those videos said, oh, it's dinner time, time to feed the worms. It was very common to get parasites back in the day. And then they invented ivermectin about 40 years ago, and the dude won the Nobel Peace Prize because it helped wipe out parasites. So my doctor in this local town labels me with parasite delusional syndrome. The reason I know that is when I got really sick, before I started taking the ivermectin, I went to another hospital up here, a very big, prestigious hospital. Got some lady, brought in a bunch of samples, called before I went down there and spoke to a woman and said what I was dealing with. And she said, you need to bring in a fresh stool sample. It's got to be less than 6 hours old and just come down to urgent care. So I did exactly that. I meet with some lady. I tell her what's going on and that I went to this other doctor and blah, de blah. And he says, I'm delusional or whatever and blah, de blah. So she starts checking me out a little bit. And I go, here, look, and I pick off one of the scabs. And you can clearly see something hanging off the bottom of the scab. Said, oh, that looks like skin to me. She didn't even have a magnifying glass. And I said to her, you mean to tell me you guys don't have a microscope? She says to me, have you had parasite delusional syndrome before? I said, lady, I don't have it now. What are you talking about? I'm sick. You look at some of my old stuff, well, a lot of them I took down. But in a lot of my old videos, I look like a cancer patient. I need to get this out. And I'm not just talking about the parasite. I need to get this off my chest. I got constant, it's not even a ringing. It's like a whining in my ears. I got health issues, man. And if what I seen in my dogs and I've seen in myself, and if what happened to them, if Kimba passed because of the parasite, and Mama Dog passed with complications from the parasite, I mean, she was old. She had been sick. But the thing is, we'd all been sick for quite some time. Kimba was very healthy when she died. There was nothing wrong with her other than this freaking out and dropping dead thing. If you watch some of my videos, my speech is slurred. I say the wrong words. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., right? They were talking about him not being mentally capable to be the president because he had brain damage from a fucking parasite. The scabs, I've seen them on my head. They're in my mouth. I pulled shit out of my nose. I've even had issues with my ears. So I know they're on the outside of my skull, whether they're inside my blood-brain barrier or not. What the fuck do I know? I think the ivermectin has bought me time. And I'm hoping it will continue to do so until I get back home. But I just can't up and split. Logistically, I got to secure this property. And I'm sure there's folks out there like, hey, none of your shit's worth it if you're going to croak. Well, I've been sick this long, a little longer ain't going to make no difference. But I need cameras hung and I need secure internet on this property so that I can have eyes on when I'm not here. I worked hard for all the shit I got. I'm not about to come back from Cali and see all my shit gone. Somebody has broke into this house 2 times. Like I said, I just need to get this off my chest. And I don't like talking about it because of ridicule. Being labeled by a doctor delusional? Are you fucking kidding me? I watched my mom and my brother go through nervous breakdowns. They were never delusional, neither am I. I never suffered like Mom and Paul did when it comes to mental illness and nervous breakdowns. But it really pissed me off to be labeled delusional, like I'm making shit up. But yet, the second hospital didn't even bother to look at shit with the magnifying glass. She just called the other hospital and jumped on the bandwagon. So, like I said, I need to get this out. Journal. Because it's really been eating me up. No pun intended, but it's really been eating me up lately because I've had another outbreak. See, I can't even keep my thoughts straight sometimes. It's lousy. It's really lousy. And my homework says that you need to be on a specific antibiotic in order for it to kill off the infection, the babies, the eggs, the whatever the fuck you want to call it. right? To be clear, completely clear of this situation, you need to be on the right antibiotic. These breeding cycles, right? Whether it's croaking the adults, but it's not croaking the eggs, so the eggs will grow into an adult, then I gotta wait for the ivermectin to kill the adult and blah, de blah. It's a motherfucker, man. And it robs me of my energy. And it fucks with me, man. How would you feel if there was something inside your body eating you from the inside out? It's fucked, man. It's very frustrating. And to not get proper medical treatment. Now, if I go see an infectious disease specialist and he's got the microscope and he's looking at all the shit and he tells me he doesn't see what I see, I'll accept that. But until then, I know what's wrong with me. And I know when I get to an infectious disease specialist, he'll agree. And people will have egg on the fucking face, to say the very least. So, said what I needed to say. Get off this gadget. Try to get some work done today. I've been on my ass for the last 2 days. Great weather, man. I just did not have the energy to do anything. And I don't feel good today either. But I got to push through and get some shit done so I can sell this property and get the fuck out of here. You know, when I say my life is at risk living here, it's not just this parasite. I'm constantly getting hassled. Whether it's here on YouTube, people talking shit. I just had some fucked up comment. Anyway, you go, troll. I don't give a fuck what you say or do. It's just another click. It's just another view. Fuck you. But I'm concerned, right? Because if the ivermectin, see, I can't talk. If this ivermectin doesn't keep this at bay, and what happened to Kimba happens to me, I'm a dead man. I saw what she went through. It happened right in front of me. So, anyway, gotta go. You guys have a great day. Sorry, like I said, I didn't want to make this video, and it's going to get me a lot of ridicule in the comment section. I don't fucking care, man. I know what I know. I'm a very practical person, a very hardworking person. I'm not some fucking cracked out goofball. And I won't be treated like one. And coming out on YouTube just gives me a way to document what I've been through. So should anything happen to me, there's a record of what I've been through. All right, y'all. Peace.